Hello and welcome learners. I am Ashraf and you're watching The Climbing Fish. Before we learn to calculate mean, let us first understand what is meant by the measure of central tendency. Taking the example of the achievement scores of the students of a class, we may sometimes find that there are few students who either score very high or very low. The marks of the students lie somewhere between the highest and the lowest of the whole class. This tendency of a group about distribution is named as central tendency. And the typical score lying between the extremes and shared by most of the students is referred to as measure of central tendency. The value of a measure of central tendency is twofold. First, it is an average which represents all of the scores obtained by the group, and as such gives a concise description of the performance of the whole group. And second, it enables us to compare two or more groups in terms of typical performance. There are three averages or measures of central tendency in common use. First, the arithmetic mean, second, the median, and third, the mode. The average is the popular term for the arithmetic mean. In statistical work, however, average is the general term for any measure of central tendency. Let us now discuss about arithmetic mean. It is defined as the sum of all the values of the items in a series divided by the number of items. It is represented by the symbol capital M. The formula for calculating the mean of an ungrouped data is capital M is equal to sigma x divided by capital N, where sigma x represents the sum of all the values of the items in a group and capital N represents the total of all the items in the series. In case of grouped data in a frequency distribution, we compute mean with the help of the formula M is equal to A plus sigma fx dash divided by capital N multiplied by small I, where symbols have the usual meaning. Let us now learn the calculation of mean with the help of this example. Here we have been given scores as class intervals and their corresponding frequencies. We first take the midpoint of all the class intervals and put them in a separate column capital X. We then assume a mean as near the center of the distribution as possible and preferably on the interval containing the largest frequency. This we call as assumed mean, which is denoted by capital A. Here the assumed mean is 42. We then subtract assumed mean from the midpoints and divide the result obtained by the class interval, that is small I. The quotient thus obtained is put in another column and we name it as x dash. We then multiply frequencies with the quotient obtained and put the entries in the last column, that is fx dash. We also take the sum of it to get sigma fx dash. We now have A is equal to 42, N is equal to 50, sigma fx dash is equal to 26 and small I is equal to 5. Putting these into the formula for mean, we get mean is equal to 42 plus 26 by 50 into 5, which comes out to be 44.6. In this way we can solve any problem on calculation of mean. Let us now discuss where do we use mean as a measure of central tendency. First, when the scores are distributed symmetrically around the central point, that is, when the distribution is not badly skewed. Second, when the measure of central tendency having the greatest stability is wanted. Third, when other statistics, for example standard deviation, coefficient of correlation, etc. are to be computed later. Many of these statistics are based upon mean. I'm leaving you with a question. Please solve it and write the solution to it in the comments. And that was the video, learners. Write down in the comments below if you want any specific topic to be covered on quantitative research. I am Ashraf and you're watching The Climbing Fish.